A new report on marketing tech and ROI from the largest PR company in the world. I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Adam Hirsch, Global Executive Vice President, Emerging Media and Technologies at Edelman Digital. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you.
What does Edelman Digital do, and what is your responsibilities, your scope of responsibilities at Edelman?
Yeah, so Edelman Digital is a part of Edelman, which is the largest independent PR and communications marketing firm. Edelman Digital is kind of really the innovation side initially of what is kind of up and coming. But, Edelman Digital has been around for over 20 years. So, if you think about the evolution of like the web and digital technology in general, first it was websites, right? And kind of the .com era. Then it was social networks, community management, and Edelman Digital quickly became like the largest, social, community management agency out there. And then as you look at kind of the evolution with, performance marketing and paid media and, deeper digital analytics and just new types of creatives coming around, with the kind of rise of social, we became kind of a full stop shop, everything, from the creative side all the way to influencers, all the way on the other side to digital transformation and how we, can evolve our businesses accordingly. And my role is really kind of on one side, looking at how we can help share that information, grow that information, or even kind of kick off new types of capabilities as we see them bubbling up. For instance, starting with, paid media, obviously was a major decision for, traditionally earned centric company. And then kind of, evolving kind of the technologies along the way, working with teams and clients to figure out kind of what's new and then sharing that across the board. And then I'm also on the partnership side. So, looking and kind of understanding what's in the ecosystem and kind of diving in deep and helping to spread that information and work with teams and clients accordingly to help them through those kind of questions and opportunities.
You recently authored a report titled Convergence: The Need for an Integrated Marketing Tech Ecosystem.
Yeah.
Why did you feel the need to write this report now?
It's a great question. I mean, so for Edelman Digital Trends, always thinking about, what's been kind of bubbling up kind of behind the scenes over the past year, and then what do we think is going to be really big in, what is now 2019. And the reality is, like, I just keep seeing this and hearing this, that, clients are fully under more pressure than they've ever been to be accountable for their ROI. And I think there's a mix of what, depending on who you are as a client, what you think ROI truly means. But at the most fundamental enterprise level, as you're running a business, you need to have eyes and understanding of everything that's happening as you're spending money, right? Money is going somewhere. What is that bringing back to me? And in this massive fragmented ecosystem, right, we were talking about before, kind of the evolution of Edelman Digital, data is everywhere, right? And there's more and more data being, created. And, I think a lot of companies have not spent the time yet to integrate that data, whether from a business intelligence standpoint or customer intelligence or, doing kind of the more advanced personalization type of experiences that we're slowly starting to see in our kind of daily lives. So, that need, that convergence, right? The opportunity here, and kind of what I define it in two ways: convergence, because I think it's really a symptom of that. But as you look at this kind of need for integrating, then there's all these integration companies that are kind of bubbling up or have become pretty big, over the past 2-3 years. And then you have obviously the other side where these, the massive enterprise marketing cloud and software clouds solutions, are buying these companies or building their own versions of these integration systems. So, it just, this past year, 2018, we saw some massive acquisitions in the space. And, I just don't think enough marketers have really caught eye that this is something they need to do. But I think in 2019, it's going to become more and more relevant that in order to solve this kind of problem of understanding your marketing and communication side of your business, you need to focus on data, and you need to focus on the integration of that data and, kind of the couple of ways I discussed.
Let's talk about that then. What decision process should an enterprise follow when trying to decide if consolidation or stitching between systems is the right way to manage their data?
Yeah. And that's the hardest part really is, like every company is different, right? So really try to get to the bottom of what you're trying to do or what you need to do. And how do you then get there, right? Because it's the complexities of, budgets first and foremost. I think budgets is usually a big barrier for, truly solving the problem, the right manpower or services. And then from there, right, there's kind of, if you're already on, the Salesforce stack or the Google stack or Microsoft stack, you look into what those companies have, right? And there might be, additional add-ons that you can kind of bring in order to actually just start to, better have an integrated business intelligence system. Or, if you look at companies like Salesforce who've been making some massive acquisitions, and Adobe too, they're building their own solutions that, can also go into the customer intelligence and really start to, work with that data on a more regular basis to do more personalization or just better analytics and understanding. Or, once again, there's all these other third-party companies that are being popped up who all hope to be acquired, I'm sure, one day also. But, there's just a ton of money being fueled into that space, and these kind of, data integration. I mean, there's so many different names for these companies. I'm trying to keep it basic there. It's like just really data integration companies, right? And each use case is about, can you know where your money went, right? And by channel, right? At the minimum. And kind of on a dashboard, right? Because we're all getting accustomed to this. We don't need to spend weeks to analyze what our money is doing for us. Like, this should be something like in any other massive financial institution, right? Or institution, as you look at your finances, most financial teams have some sort of dashboard already, or on a monthly basis at the minimum, there's a way to deep dive into the kind of the big buckets. But getting more granular across the ecosystem, right, is going to help everyone stay on top of what's working, what's not working, how do we optimize from there, and how do we better optimize our business so we can focus on what's actually working for us instead of spending money, on something that's not.
Where will privacy, consumer rights, and digital ethics fit into the 2019 MarTech puzzle?
Oh yeah, we have a whole chapter on that too, or a couple chapters really. I mean, it's, I think a lot of people are scared right now. A lot of people are worried about what that truly means, and I think the reality is that, based on a lot of different reports, like, consumers feel confident giving away some of their data in exchange for personalization. I think all of our larger fears are something getting hacked and people being able to figure out how to do, deeper levels of identity fraud, right? Or really do something that's, more malicious intents comparatively to the needs for personalization and data and understanding to better understand your customers and better serve your customers, really is what it comes down to. But the ethics, I think I'm on the side and a believer that, I'm okay giving away my location and other data so they can better target me, hopefully give me more relevant information and details. But I am also afraid of, entering credit card information still online, right? And, kind of make sure I have all of the checks and balances and the two-factor authentication that's there. But I'm also just, having been on the world of digital and the web, the web now for 20 years, right? 19, 20 years. I mean, the reality is you just got to be smart about what you put online, right? It's always been the case, and it's just more so the case now than ever.
Okay, Adam, as we move forward in 2019, what will the best companies do to maximize ROI on their data assets?
Yeah, I mean, it's really about, it's a top down, like it has to be too, right? I mean, everyone has to believe in there's a way to better understand what data is happening, and there's a way to integrate all of the teams who are involved in the communications and marketing side, as well as the, everyone on the technology, creative, whatever it is, as long as you're touching what's happening in the outside world, right, to customers or potential customers, they need to understand what's at stake here, how to actually do an ROI, right? And then, bring that in to make it more accessible to everybody. I think that's where, as we look at the accessibility of our own data to the digital ethics question, I think the reality is that companies operate better when they're more transparent, right? There's an understanding of what's happening, and there's also more accountability for what's happening, and more data to back that up, right? Instead of a hunch that this is not what's happening. And so for the accountability side, we're going to see that play out, already across advertising. We're working on that thoroughly to solve that for influencer marketing as well. So it's, accountability is kind of, our theme.
Adam Hirsch, Global Executive Vice President, Emerging Media and Technologies at Edelman Digital. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they want to get a copy of your report, or maybe connect with you personally, how can they do that?
Yeah, well, edelmandigital.com/trends. At me on Twitter. I'll definitely get a notification, or connect with me on LinkedIn. But if you're going to connect with me on LinkedIn, just make sure to type a note in there so I know why you're trying to reach out to me. So definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to @ me on Twitter, I'm at Tonya Hall Radio. Find more of my interviews here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or go to my website, tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.